It is a cold morning, and the inside of your windshield is gone white. You wipe it with your sleeve, and now you are looking through a smeared arc with a wet coat cuff, and the defroster has another 4 minutes before it does anything at all. Somebody told you about the potato. Cut one in half, rub the wet face across the inside of the glass, let it dry, and buff it clear with a cloth. That is a real trick, and this is the rare one I am not here to correct. It worked in 1955, and it works on the car in your driveway this morning. Here is why. Fog is not a film of water. It is thousands of tiny separate droplets, and every one of them bends light in a different direction, which is what turns clear glass white. Raw potato leaves a trace of starch and moisture behind, and that trace makes water spread out flat into a sheet instead of beading. A sheet you can see through. That is the identical principle behind every anti-fog bottle on the shelf. The potato was just the version already in the kitchen. But here is what nobody told you, and it is the part that costs money. On a modern car, fog on the inside of the glass is usually not a glass problem at all. It is water getting into your cabin that should not be there, or air that cannot get out. Treat the glass and ignore the cause, and you are wiping the symptom every morning for 3 winters, while a $900 repair grows quietly behind your dash. I spent 30 years running a glass and interior shop, which meant I saw every wet carpet in the county. By the end of this, you will know how to do the potato trick properly, the 4 things that actually cause a fogging car, and how to tell in 2 minutes which one you have. Number 19 is the button. Most drivers press that makes fog worse instantly, and half of you are pressing it right now. Number 12 is the $20 part behind your glove box that cures fog for 2/3 of the men watching. And number 1 takes 10 seconds a day, and it is why a shop man never once scraped the inside of his own glass. These 25 tricks were never about a potato. They were about men who understood that a fogged windshield is your car telling you where its water is, and a man who can read that answer fixes the cause instead of the glass. Let us count down the 25 things they knew about a fogging car. Number 25. Doing the potato trick properly. Cut a raw potato in half and rub the wet cut face over the inside of the glass in overlapping passes, edge to edge. Let it haze over for a minute, then buff it clear with a clean, dry microfiber. Streaks mean you buffed too soon or used too much. A driver in 1955 did the whole windshield in 3 minutes. It lasts a week or 2, and it costs whatever a potato costs. Number 24. Cleaning the glass before you treat it. Every trick on this list fails on dirty glass, and the inside of a windshield is coated with a film that off-gasses off your dashboard, plus smoke, breath residue, and years of hands. That film holds moisture and makes fog worse. You clean with an automotive glass cleaner and 2 towels, one to wash and one to buff. A shop man in 1955 cleaned before he treated. The haze was never the glass. It was the film on it. Number 23, using 2 towels, not 1. 1 damp towel to lift the film, 1 bone dry towel immediately behind it to take up the residue before it dries. 1 towel just moves the film around and leaves the streaks you see when the sun is low. A glass man in 1955 kept a dry towel in his back pocket for exactly this. It is not the cleaner that makes glass clear. It is the second towel. Number 22. Shaving cream instead of a potato. A dab of plain shaving cream, spread thin over the inside of the glass and buffed off completely, leaves the same kind of surfactant film and holds a bit longer. It has to be buffed until the glass looks untreated. A driver in 1955 used whatever was in the medicine cabinet. Any of these work by the same trick. They make water lie flat instead of standing up in droplets. Number 21. Never using dish soap on the inside of the glass. Men hear surfactant and reach for the sink. Dish detergent leaves a residue that smears badly at night under headlights, and it holds dust. Anything you put on that glass has to be buffed to invisible, or it becomes a hazard the first time you drive into low sun. A shopman in 1955 kept the kitchen soap in the kitchen. What helps at 20 miles an hour can blind you at 60. Number 20. Setting the defroster the right way. Heat on high, fan on high, air conditioning on, and recirculation off. That combination confuses people because they think air conditioning means cold, but the compressor is a dehumidifier, and it pulls water out of the air before that air reaches the glass. A driver in 1955 had no compressor and envied you. Heat alone eventually works. Heat with the compressor running works in a fraction of the time. Number 19. The recirculation button. This is the one that catches everybody. Recirculation takes the wettest air in the world, which is the air you and your passengers are breathing, and runs it around the cabin again and again with nowhere to go. Fog gets worse in a minute. You turn it off and let outside air in, because outside air in winter is drier than anything in that car. It is not the cold making the fog. It is your own breath kept. Number 18. Cracking a window 2 inches. When the defroster is losing the fight, the fastest cure is an exchange of air. 2 inches on 2 windows, driver and rear passenger side, for 30 seconds, and the cabin dumps its moisture out. It is uncomfortable, and it works faster than any setting on the dash. A driver in 1955 did it without thinking. Fog is a humidity problem. Humidity leaves through an opening. Here is something nobody is counting. The men who ran interior and glass shops, who could put a hand on a passenger carpet and tell you which drain was plugged before they ever pulled a panel, are nearly all gone. The youngest are past 80. They did not keep it in a manual. They kept it in their hands, over 30 years of kneeling in footwells with a flashlight. When they go, the potato stays in the pantry and the microfiber stays on the shelf, exactly where they always were, and the knowing goes into the ground. That chain ran bench to apprentice for 50 years, and then interior water became a diagnostic line item nobody explains. If this is worth something to you, take 1 second right now and hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. That is the only reason a video like this ever reaches the next man who needs it. Number 17. Checking the carpet with your hand. Before you blame the glass, kneel down and press your palm into the carpet in all 4 footwells and under the mats. Damp carpet is a swimming pool that evaporates onto your windshield every single morning, and you cannot dry the air while a gallon of water sits under your feet. A shopman in 1955 checked carpets first. The fog is on the glass. The water is on the floor. Number 16. Clearing the air conditioning evaporator drain. Your system pulls water out of the air, and it is supposed to run out a short rubber tube through the firewall onto the ground. Plug that tube, and the water backs up into the passenger footwell. You find the tube under the car and clear it gently with soft wire or low-pressure air. A garage man in 1955 checked it every summer. It is not a leaking heater core every time. Half of them are a garden hose the size of your finger. Number 15. Clearing the cowl and the leaf trap. That grill below your wiper arms takes in the air your defroster uses, and it takes in leaves with it. Packed full, it holds a wet mat of debris against the bulkhead and floods the footwell through the fresh air intake. You lift the trim in spring and pull the leaves out by hand. A shopman in 1955 cleared them every fall. It is not the windshield seal soaking your carpet. It is a gutter nobody swept. Number 14. Blowing out the sunroof drains. A sunroof has rubber tubes running down inside the pillars to carry water out at the bottom of the car. Blocked, they dump that water into the headliner and down into the cabin, and the first symptom is fog you cannot beat. You pour water into the corner channel and watch for it to run out underneath. A driver in 1955 had the same tubes in the pillars. It was never the glass that leaked. Number 13. Reading a leaking heater core. If the fog comes back with an oily film that smears rather than wipes, the cabin smells sweet, and the passenger carpet is damp, that is coolant blowing onto your windshield and into your lungs. This one does not wait, and it is not a comfort issue. A shopman in 1955 pulled a mat and smelled the carpet. It is not the defroster failing, it is the radiator's small cousin behind your dash. Number 12. Changing the cabin air filter. Behind your glove box on most cars sits a paper filter that every bit of your defroster air passes through, and men go 100,000 miles without touching it. Plugged with leaves and dust, airflow to the windshield drops to nothing, and the defroster cannot win. It is a $20 part and often a 10-minute job with no tools. A glass man in 1955 had the equivalent screen. Your defroster is not weak. It is breathing through a blanket. Number 11. Never wiping fog with your hand or your sleeve. Skin oil and fabric fibers go onto the glass and become the film that makes the next fog worse and streaks under headlights at night. You keep a dedicated microfiber in the door pocket and use that, or better, fix the airflow so you do not have to wipe at all. A driver in 1955 kept a chamois in the glove box. Every wipe with a sleeve makes tomorrow morning worse. There is a reason nobody tells you to check the carpet first. Price it out. A shop will diagnose an interior water leak at $120 to $180 an hour, and finding one honestly takes 2 hours with a hose and a helper. A heater core is $900 to $1,800 installed, almost all of it labor, to reach a part worth $90. Carpet and padding replacement after a season of standing water runs $600 to $1,900, and mold remediation in a cabin is its own bill, and none of that gets covered by anything. Now price the other side. A potato, a $20 cabin filter, 10 minutes with a piece of wire on a drain tube, 2 microfiber towels, under $30, and one Saturday morning stands between a man and the 4-figure version. The craft was not lost. It was made unprofitable, and then it was allowed to die. Do me one favor before we get to the top 9. Hit like, subscribe, and turn that bell on so the next one finds you. That is the entire price of this. Number 10. Pulling the mats out to dry. A rubber mat holds a puddle of snow melt against the carpet, and the carpet holds it against the floor pan, which fogs your glass all winter and rusts the pan from the inside where you will never see it. You pull the mats every few weeks in winter and let both dry. A shopman in 1955 hung mats on a fence to drip. The floor does not rot from below, it rots from your boots. Number 9. Getting the standing water out. If the carpet is soaked, a wet vacuum through the padding, then a fan or a dehumidifier in the closed car for a day or two, and the windows cracked in a garage. Wet padding will not dry on its own in winter, and it will fog your glass every morning until it does. A garage man in 1955 dried a car before he handed it back. Drying the air is pointless while the sponge underneath is full. Number 8. Killing the mildew once it is dry. Wet carpet that sat becomes mildew, and mildew smells, holds moisture, and is not good to breathe. Once dry, a vinegar solution sponged into the carpet and trunk mat kills it at the root instead of covering it. A used car man in 1955 freshened every trade in this way. An air freshener hides a smell. The vinegar removes what is making it. Number 7. Emptying the trunk well. The lowest point in your car is under the spare tire, and a tired trunk seal or a bad taillight gasket fills it with water you never see. That water evaporates into the cabin and onto your glass. You lift the spare twice a year and put your hand in the well. A shopman in 1955 checked that well on every trade-in he took. The trunk did not flood. It filled a spoonful at a time. Number 6. Dressing the weather strip before winter. The rubber around your doors and windows dries, shrinks, and cracks. And then it lets rain in along the sill where it soaks straight into the carpet edge. A wipe of silicone paste along it in the fall keeps it soft and sealing and stops the door freezing shut in January. A station man in 1955 dressed every seal he saw. It was not the door leaking. It was rubber that had forgotten how to give. Number 5. Getting the snow off your boots and out of the car. Every winter a driver tracks in a few pounds of snow a week. It melts into the carpet, and then he wonders why his windows fog. Knock your boots on the sill before you get in and keep a rubber tray under your feet. not fabric. A driver in 1955 stamped his feet without being told. Your car is not damp because of the weather. It is damp because you carried the weather inside. Number 4, watching what you leave in the car. Wet gym clothes, a damp dog blanket, a bag of groceries with ice, a case of water that sweats. Every one of them is a humidifier running all night in a sealed box. A shopman in 1955 told his customers to take it in the house. The car does not make its own water. Nearly all of it walks in with somebody. Number 3, knowing the 4 sources. You do not guess. Cabin fog comes from air you are breathing with recirculation on, water tracked in on boots and clothing, water leaking in through a plugged drain or a tired seal, or coolant from a heater core. That is the entire list. A shopman in 1955 worked those 4 in that order, cheapest first. Fog is not weather, it is water, and it came from one of 4 places. Number 2, the seasonal check before the cold comes. Once in October. Hand on all 4 carpets, cabin filter out and looked at, cowl cleared of leaves, evaporator drain confirmed running, weather strip wiped, glass cleaned inside. 40 minutes. It is not a repair. It is a standing appointment with the inside of your own car, and it is where every fogged morning on this list actually begins. Number 1, putting your hand on the passenger carpet. That is all. 10 seconds, once a week in winter, before you ever blame the glass or the defroster or the weather. Because every problem in this video announced itself first as a carpet that was slightly damp and got driven on for another 2 months. And by the time the fog would not clear, the water had been sitting on steel all winter. Your grandfather did this without calling it anything. He called it feeling around. Number 1 is not a trick. It is the check that makes the other 24 worth knowing. If this was worth your time, hit like, subscribe, and turn on that bell right now. It costs you nothing, and it is the whole reason I get to keep making these. None of this needed a certification, a scan tool, or a subscription to anything. It needed a potato, 2 towels, a flashlight, and a man who understood that fog is not a property of glass, but a report on where the water in your car is living. That was the default setting in every shop in America. Not confidence handed down from a classroom. Confidence built from kneeling in enough footwells to know that a wet carpet explains almost everything a driver complains about in February. We did not lose the potato. It is in the pantry, right where it always was. We lost the hands that knew to check the floor first, and the old man who opened a passenger door pressed his palm into the carpet without a word, and said, "There, that is your fog, and it is not on your windshield at all." So tell me down in the comments what you are driving, and go press your hand into the passenger side carpet right now. Dry or damp? That one answer decides which half of this video is about your car, and it takes 10 seconds to find out. He is gone now, and most of what he knew went with him. But not all of it, because some of it is in this video, written down at last. So use the potato this week, because it genuinely works and it costs nothing. Then go find out where your water is coming from so that by next winter you do not need it. Next time I will show you how those same men found an interior leak with a garden hose and a helper in 20 minutes on cars 3 shops had already given up on. The craft is not dead. It is a potato and a willing hand away.